Hey, Black power to the people. This is Underground Warrior TV. You know I'm back. You know I'm black at y'all with another exclusive, more powerful, dynamic video. Hey, this your first time coming into that channel, Underground Warrior TV, where I bang on the beats constantly. You know what I mean? I bring it like I see it. You know, no sugarcoat, nothing. I'm just bringing it. How I see it, how I interpret the whole situation on any particular matter, I'm gonna give it to you. You know, give you something to ponder on, fam. I'm gonna give y'all another video of this preacher, man. I call him Reverend Pochop. Uh, this guy made this video. This particular video was made some years back. I'm just now getting wind of this particular video. I seen the video. It was very ignorant of this pastor to speak ill about black people. This is a black uh, preacher, but I wasn't surprised. But we got to understand we're in the time of social media. Uh, Videos are being played, even though this video was wow back like 2014, 2016, maybe latest 2017, his last work. This stuff is played. And kids got to hear this particular information that's being propagated. And it's all self hate propaganda. We don't want the kids to pick up on this hate, this self hatred. Because, see, a lot of old folks, they believe this kind of rhetoric. This is because this guy's a pastor. And I wasn't surprised coming from a Christian, coming from a black Christian. You know, black Christians are the most synchronized people into white supremacy. It practiced the white supremacy religion. They forgive the enemy. They have no fight. They said, lead a fight up to God. And this particular preacher, he said, lead a fight up to God. The black people need God. And that's the reason why we in the predicament that we're in today. That sounds like the Hebrews, the Hebrew Israelites. Not to bang on them. They believe that they're the chosen people, that their lineage is the chosen people. If you're black, you're chosen. If you're in the skin that I'm in, if you're African descent, you're chosen. You feel what I'm saying? Just being the man and the woman that you are and child that you are, being melanated, that should give you enough and sensitive to know who you are. You feel what I'm saying? So these religion texts can drive people crazy because they base their whole life off this religious text. They've been indoctrinated. They won't even fight for themselves. They pray for the enemy. Anybody prescribes you a religion to forgive your enemy was the enemy that gave it to you. Anybody prescribes a religion to forgive your enemy is your enemy who gave you that religion. Trust and believe. Now we got this pastor, Reverend Pochop. This is what he says about us. We could debunk this because we're in a time of information. But you got to understand, some people are real lazy. Some of us are afraid to teach our kids the real history, not his story about black people. Teach us our great history, more than slavery. We got to go back to ancient times and pick up on our history. We are old people to the earth. The white man is Johnny come lately. At one time, you close your eyes, you see blackness, right? That's all ruled the earth in the ancient time. The white man came out the caves of Europe. Real story, not his story, but real history. When black people ruled the world. You feel what I'm saying? For this preacher to come out his mouth to say what he says, he's irresponsible. He's a stagnation, an obstruction in the way of the rise of black people. Kids got to see this dumb video. Here go the video right here.
Here, and I'm not going to be much longer with y'all. I understand we need to move beyond color. I'm not about that, but y'all raised it. If you start it, I'll end it for you. Don't start nothing, it won't be nothing. But we got a problem. Black people got a problem. Now we can move to color blindness and always look at the man by the content of his character, never the color of his skin. I'm down for that. You get my vote. Yay and amen. I'm for that. But before we get there, we need to hear some truth. Black people and white folk. Black people got a problem. And it's a God problem. When black people see the world, I don't care. You can train them. You can train a black man to be a physician. You can train him to be an astrophysicist. You can train him to be a lawyer, but you can't train him to understand the world. He doesn't know. I'm telling you. There's not 2 cents worth of difference between a mass murderer. There's not 2 cents of difference between a petty thief that's locked away in prison than a black doctor when it comes to understanding the world. Listen, you listen to me. We got to deal with this. And we need to begin to acknowledge it, talk about it, ask God to help us, because only God can help black people where they are. Black people had Africa, that big old continent over there. They never built one boat that was seaworthy. Not one. There's not one monument in Africa, in all of Africa. I know you're talking about Egypt. Egypt is not Africa. There are no great cities that were built. Even before the first colonization of white people coming to the shores of Africa or the slave ships, black men built nothing. No sewer system, no houses above one level, and none of them made out of stone, all of them made out of grass and wood. Black men, before the white man ever got to Africa. The worst thing that could ever happen to South Africa was when they gave it to Nelson Mandela and black folk. That was a great nation. Now, notwithstanding apartheid was wrong, we all know it's wrong. I'm against it. There should have been some other resolution, though, than turning it over to Nelson Mandela. Disease, AIDS, and crime is running wild in Johannesburg. They're killing one another over there. They're dying of sickness. The government is mismanaged. The people who ran the nation are now leaving the nation because black folk don't know how to run no nation. They don't know how, and we need to admit it. I know you don't like it, but you need to stop shucking and jiving. We got a problem. Nigeria produces oil every year, yet the children over there are hungry and pot-bellied and walking barefoot. We got a problem. You talk about the Hutus and the Tutsis. Look what's going on in Zimbabwe now with Mugabe. We got a problem, black folk. And forget about Zimbabwe and South Africa, Nigeria. Look at what y'all have done in Harlem. You can't even hold on to Harlem. We got a problem. Black folk don't understand the world. You can get mad with me all you want. You can say what you, but you can't prove me wrong. Now, I'm not saying this because I hate black folk. I'm saying it because I love you enough to tell the truth. And the only person going to ever help us get out of the situation is going to be God. There's something wrong with the black man's mind. There's something wrong with his mind. He does not understand the world. He doesn't. I don't care if he learned medicine. He doesn't understand the world. He can't even hold on to Harlem. When he was here, he moved out. We got to talk to the Lord. People, we got to talk to God. And black women Shirley Chisholm, Harriet Tubman, Coretta King, one of her boys. Yeah, okay, then we got a black president. But you black women, what's wrong with y'all? Y'all gonna let that white woman, what's wrong with you black women voting for Barack? Don't you understand? It should have been a black room if you're gonna have a black president. What's wrong with you? Y'all ain't got no sense, you black women. Your men treat you like the dogs, like your dogs. They walk all over you. They make you pay the bills at home, and then the preachers pimp you in the churches and make you pay the bills. Y'all crazy black women buying these black men private jets, the tune of $50 million for a nigga to ride around in a private jet, and you talk about, look at our pastor. What's wrong with y'all women? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And what's wrong with a black man that would take that kind of money out of a poor neighborhood and buy himself a private jet? What's wrong with y'all niggas? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, black women? What's wrong with you voting for Barack Obama? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy. Black people, let me tell y'all something. If you don't ever hear me say preach again, they can kill me tomorrow. But let me tell you something. We're not going to ever get anywhere until we look into the mind of a black man. He doesn't think correctly. I don't care what he is. He can be a doctor. He can be an astrophysicist. The nigga ain't got no sense. You talk to him. You talk to a black man. He doesn't understand the world. He's never built anything. The most the black people have ever done, they did it here in America under white people's help. When they were in Africa, they didn't do nothing.
That guy is a goddamn fool. He is a damn fool. I don't think the kids are fooled by him, but some people are. Some Negro who's been believing this particular rhetoric for years. This is why we as a people are stagnated. We got to teach a new education to our kids, to our people. You see what I'm saying? We got too many slaves like him in position. This guy got a congregation. This is irresponsible to tell a lie. Do he know about the mighty great empires of the Carthage Empire, you know, that ruled during the 8th and 19th century? Do we know anything about that? North Africa. Do we know anything about North Africa? Do we know anything about Hannibal and Hamilcar, two black generals who ruled this empire, who fought against Rome, conquering Rome twice? Do you know anything about the great empires of Mali? You know, did you know anything about Mali, the kingdom of Kush? Do we know about Gary Morgan, who created the stop sign, the stoplight? Huh? What about the brother Alan Emtich, who created the internet? I mean, all you gotta do is go read history, man. What about all the inventions? George Washington Carver, who created the peanut, and his slave master castrated him because he didn't want him to create another genius child. He talked about Africa. Who undermined Africa? The same religion that you preach every day. The Pope of Rome gave the Portuguese permission to enslave Africans in the 14th century. Religion, Christianity went into Africa and undermined Africa. The slave masters went into Africa and undermined Africa. What is this preacher talking about? Do you know anything about the kingdom of the Ascom kingdom? What is the modern day Ethiopia? Do you know anything about Nubia, Kush, any of those great African empires that went all the way up into Asia Minor? Do we know about the black civilization of America, the Olmec people? I know a lot of y'all say them is not Africans. Why would another tribe of people or different people make a big Olmec head of Africans in La Venta, Mexico? Do we know anything about the Kemetic people who created science, who gave you mathematics? See, you got a lot of Negroes in position, don't know their history, so they talk off the side of their mouth. That's why we need to teach the knowledge of self so we could be a prideful, boastful people. That's why I'm so boastful. That's why I'm so prideful. I don't give a damn who don't like it. I know who the fuck I am. I can stand on the fountain of truth and prove who the fuck black people was before the falling of black people, before we came in contact with the Europeans, when black people ruled the world. It was the African who gave civilization to the world. Mr. Reverend Pochop, James David Manning. I don't even know if this brother's still living, but I'm attack his ideology. Who toppled black governments in Africa? Who colonized Africa? When you tell history, fool, tell the whole story, Reverend Pochop. Black people, study your history. Get you some John Henry Clark, some Dr. Yusuf Ben Yakahana, some Ivan Van Sertel, some Chancellor Williams. Get you some books and study these old African ancestors of ours who went in depth and find out who we were as a people. Don't listen to these Indian dudes say we Indian. Don't listen to these people. This is self-hatred. So many people been running from their African heritage because the white man made Africa look derogatory. Because the white man paint the negative image of you. I mean, it's easy. Black people are so baffled, so intertwined to be a fucking iRobot. That's just if you in school and someone in school teases you about something that you know is not true, we call it capping. The white man been capping for years, and you niggas believe it. You niggas are downtrodden. When you know your history, you walk around the planet with your chest out. When you know your history and know who you are, your kids will not fall victim to the homosexual mandate that the government is trying to push on the black community. When you know your history, your kids will not date outside their race when they get older. They will learn to appreciate and value black life. They won't be killing each other so rampant and so easily. They can kill you today and go to lunch, kill you in the middle of the morning and go to lunch with mom or dad and not think nothing of it. These kids are easy influence, a product of their environment. But you know what? They ain't scared like a lot of y'all though. These kids is not scared. So if they had the proper role model or the proper people to look up to as how you supposed to be moving as a people that's at war, because we at war with white supremacy, we at war with the self. But once you recognize who the real enemy is, you have more comrades. We'll have more businesses in the neighborhood. That's the only reason why people don't respect black people. We got a lot of power as a people, don't even know it. You know, you like an asteroid divided. You're like an asteroid divided an asteroid, a broken off planet, even though that asteroid is broken off from a big planet, it still has energy to hit another planet and blow up another planet, decimate another planet. Black people, we are divided like that. We're powerful little entities, but us together, we like a big planet. And a planet is more powerful than one asteroid, one meteorite floating out there in the universe. We come together, we are the universe. So when you hear rhetoric like this dumb ass preacher speaking, you know he's a pork eating, zombie, iRobot, counter revolutionary, self hatred Negro. You don't want to be a self hatred Negro. Black power. Mash up the lights. Leave comments below. Tell me what y'all think about Reverend Old Pochop. His name Reverend Pochop. Peace. Black power.